Oh, all right. I've got time for just one more story. And this one is from the dark parts of the library shelves. Now, where are you? Ah, here you are. It's a jolly story, and it's from those young boys, the Brothers Grimm, and it's called The Mouse, the Bird, and the Sausage.
Once upon a time, a mouse, a bird, and a sausage entered into partnership and set up house together. For a long time, all went well. They lived in great comfort and prospered so far as to be able to live in comfort, which was not always the case in those days. The bird's duty was to fly daily into the wood and bring in fuel. The mouse fetched the water and tended the hearth, and the sausage saw to the cooking and cleaning. When people are too well off, they always begin to long for something new. And so it came to pass that the bird, while out one day, met a fellow bird. He boastfully spoke of the excellence of his household arrangements. But the other bird sneered at him for being a poor simpleton who did all the hard work, while the other two stayed at home and had a good time of it. The second bird chided him, saying that when the mouse had made the fire and fetched in the water, she could retire into her little room and rest until it was time to set the table. The sausage had only to watch the pot to see that the food was properly cooked, and when it was near dinner time, he just threw himself into the broth or rolled in and out among the vegetables 3 or 4 times, and there they were, buttered and salted and ready to be served. Then, when the bird came home and had laid aside his branches and twigs for the fire, they all sat down to table, and when they had finished their meal, they would sleep their fill till the following morning, just like the days before. Or so it should have been. Influenced by those remarks, the bird next morning refused to bring in the wood, telling the others that he had been their servant long enough and had been the fool in their bargain, and that it was now time to make a change and to try some other way of arranging the work. Beg and pray as the mouse and the sausage might, it was of no use. The bird remained master of the situation, and the chores had to be remade. They therefore drew lots, and it fell to the sausage to bring in the wood, to the mouse to cook, and to the bird to fetch the water. And now what happened? The sausage started in search of the wood. Meanwhile, the bird made the fire, and the mouse put on the pot, and then these two waited till the sausage returned with the wood for tomorrow's fire. But the sausage didn't return, and they became uneasy and worried until the bird flew off to find him. He had not flown far when he came across a dog, who, having seen the sausage in the forest that afternoon, had gobbled him for lunch. The bird complained to the dog of this bold murder, but nothing he said was of any avail, for the dog answered that he found the sausage fairly wandering the forest, and it was forest law that he could hunt. Heartbroken, the bird picked up some wood and flew sadly home, and told the mouse all he had seen and heard. They were both very dismayed, but agreed to make the best of things and to remain with one another. So now the bird set the table, and the mouse looked after the cooking. In her sadness, she wished nothing more than to prepare it in the same way as the sausage, by rolling in and out among the vegetables to salt and butter them. She jumped into the pot with this intention, but she started cooking before the vegetables finished. For it seems obvious to say that a mouse is not the same as a sausage. And while a sausage might be happy sitting in boiling water, mice are not. Presently the bird came in and wanted to serve up the dinner, but he could nowhere see the cook. In his alarm and flurry, he threw the sticks and twigs here and there about the floor, called and searched. But the poor mouse didn't answer back and was not to be found. In his haste, some of the wood that had been carelessly thrown about caught fire and began to blaze. The bird hastened to fetch some water, but his pail fell into the well, and he fell in after it. Needless to say, he was unable to recover himself, and his fate was to drown.
Oh, what a fun little story! And such a great lesson to be learned from it, which is, of course, well, whatever it is you make of it. I am the librarian, not Mother Goose.